So sometimes you read a book and you think, that character deserved better. And sometimes you think, phew, that one deserved worse. And we're going to explore some of those right now. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. And I talk about great books for you and talk about horror movies as well. But this is a Stephen King video and this is this month's book special. And it's an extra special because it is a twinner to one of the members only specials I've done for my constant viewers. So while this is a special that I hope you'll enjoy, yes, it's also a shameless plug for you to become a constant viewer. If you become a constant viewer, you support this channel directly. You get at least 2 bonus specials just for you every single month, and you get early access to all of the regular videos too. Now, one of the first constant viewer specials I ever posted was my choice of 19 Stephen King characters who deserved better. Well, in the comments for that, Jules B7783 suggested doing the inverse and 19 characters who deserved worse. So I'm going to do that today. But I'm putting it out here as this month's book special for you to enjoy, for you to get involved with. Let me know which characters you think deserve worse. But also, like I say, to give you a glimpse of what the constant viewer specials are like. I mean, they look and sound the same because it's still me sat in front of my bookshelf talking into my phone and putting it onto YouTube. But if you like this kind of stuff and you want a little bit more for not that much money per month, I think it's $1.99, that would be great. Sign up. There's a link below. While you're looking down there, you can also find links to my range of Stephen King themed band shirts, like my Revival AC/DC mashup, my award-winning collection of short stories, my Stephen King trivia book, and like I say, there's the link there to become a constant viewer. And hey, if you just want to enjoy this special and you don't want to become a constant viewer, that's fine as well. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and tell a friend also so that you help spread the word, okay? Right then, so this special, I'm just going to go through 19 characters that I thought deserved worse. I'm going to give a little bit of reason why, which will, by nature of what I'm going to have to say, will potentially bring some spoilers. So what I'm going to do to help you dodge anything you don't want to see is I'm not going to put the character names as chapter descriptions, but I'm going to put the books down as chapter descriptions, so you can use the timestamps to skip over anything you've not read yet if you don't want little things mentioned. And this isn't a ranking, I'm just going through in order of publication from the books. And that's about it. Let me know which characters you think deserve worse. Let me know if you agree with any on my list. And then, hey, go and become a constant viewer and check out the ones that I think deserve better as well. But let's get on with this. Here are 19 characters from the books of Stephen King that I thought deserved worse. Right, we're starting off at the start in Carrie and Margaret White. Sure, she didn't make it out alive, but her death was very mercifully done by Carrie, just stopping her heart and just letting her fade out. Obviously in the movie it's much more brutal. That's the kind of fate she deserved. She's such a horrible character. She's such a manipulative, abusive woman who, like many manipulative, abusive parents, just uses religion to justify their behaviour. But she's absolutely batshit. And yeah, she got off way too lightly for my book. She turned Carrie into just this social pariah and did not prepare her for the world. And ultimately, the destruction of Chamberlain is down on Margaret's shoulders for my book. Okay, next up, The Stand, and Randall Flagg. Like, he's this agent of chaos who takes advantage of the world ending and then just zips off scot-free at the end. Obviously, we think that he's been got, but he hasn't. He just causes all this carnage, draws people to his version of civilization, kills a bunch of people, and then just escapes right at the last minute there to start the cycle all over again. Like, obviously, yes, he's a master villain. Of course he was going to do that. But, you know, he also deserved to die. Okay, next up, Firestarter, and I'm picking Rainbird. Now, you could argue that being burnt alive by Charlie McGee is a pretty bad fate and pretty fitting of his behaviour. But then you have to remember just exactly what he wanted to do to Charlie, and how many people he's taken out, and what length he was willing to take to do those selfish acts. He wasn't doing all this stuff to Charlie and Andy because that's what he was ordered to do. He was doing it because he wanted to watch her expire in front of his very own eyes. It was all selfish. It was all driven for personal gain, for sick pleasure. So being burnt alive should have just been a start, really. He deserved way, way more. Okay, into Cujo next, and Steve Kemp, the infamous guy that Donna is having an affair with, who gets so angry when she dumps him that he goes and trashes their house and jizzes all over their bed. And yeah, he gets picked up by the police, but he kind of just fades out into obscurity on the side of the story as things rumble on. And am I saying that he deserved to be mauled by Cujo and have his jizzy balls ripped off before being eaten by that rabid dog? Am I saying that? Yeah. Okay, 5. Apt Pupil and Kurt Dusander, the main villain in that piece. Again, it's such a snaky, sneaky coward's death that he just gets to inject some air bubbles into himself and just slip away in the hospital when he realises he's been caught. And yes, it works for the story. It's a final example of him evading the justice that he should have had to him, that he's been doing ever since the war. But God, it's frustrating, right? Particularly when he's had all that influence on Todd. Yeah. There was just part of me that just wanted to see him get some kind of punishment. Okay, 6. Christine and Regina Cunningham. That's Arnie's mum. I mean, she deserves worse because she's just horrible. She's just nasty. And she seems to not care for or love her son or respect her son in the slightest. So, yeah. She needed more punishment. Way more. Right, at 7, I'm going into The Mist and Mrs. Carmody. Now, yes, she does get a bullet between the eyes from Ollie Weeks, and that is satisfying. But also, a bit like Randall Flagg, she's that agent of chaos trying to take advantage of a terrible situation for her own means and trying to position herself as this cult leader, as this position of authority, as this position of sanctuary, when really she's just bonkers and she's just hiding her cruelty behind religion again. And highly satisfying seeing her get one between the eyes, but really it would have been more satisfying, frankly, if all of those other survivors had just turned on her and ripped her to shreds, or thrown her out to the monsters out in the mist. Even better. Okay, at 8, we're going into It and Henry Bowers. I mean, Henry Bowers doesn't exactly get a great fate, I'll give you that. But he does make it to adulthood, and he does get to trouble the losers again later in life. And you know, I look at what he did and what sort of character he is, and look at what he ended up having happen to him, and kind of satisfying. But then you look at what happened to Patrick Hockstetter. Like, the leeches, the fridge, all of that stuff. That's what Henry deserved. Yeah. At 9, we're sticking in It, and Alvin Marsh, Beverly Marsh's dad. I mean, he just gets to die quietly off page. And if anyone in that book is like the definition of what is wrong with the adults in Derry and deserves way, way more punishment, deserves to be beaten, bruised, ripped to shreds, it's that sicko. Okay, at 10, Gerald's Game and Gerald Burlingame. And we could also make the case for Jesse's dad here as well, but Gerald, it's all his fault, isn't it? The entire situation. And he's just gross and clearly has rape fantasies and wants to control his wife and is just a vile human. And yeah, great to see him die, but I don't know. There was no justice there for Jessie at all. He just kind of ties her up, handcuffs her to the bed, and then just checks out. And yeah, he gets a bit eaten by a dog, which is kind of fun, but honestly, he deserved more when it comes to punishment. Okay, my 11th pick, we're going into Wizard and Glass and Rhea of the Coos. Just one of the grossest characters ever put into literature. All that stuff she does with Susan, her relationship with the snake, just her obsession with the orbs. Oh, she is vile. And if ever there needed to be a character that was mercilessly tortured over multiple pages before ultimately perishing, it's her. Like, a very effective character. I can say that for most of the characters on this list. They're all very effective, and you hate them so much that's why they're on this list. But really, Rhea, I really felt like she got off incredibly lightly. So next up, Bag of Bones and Max DeVore. So he's the nasty, rich, old guy character who sort of sets things in motion and then dies by suicide in the bath. And again, brilliant plot device. I'm not complaining with that. But there's also a huge part of me that just wanted to see all of those ghosts of that town just really fuck him up because of what he did, both as a young man, as an old man, just his entire outlook on life. Like, the fact that he got to go out on his own terms is just so frustrating, incredibly powerful for the story, but also, let those ghosts get him, please. At 13, Dreamcatcher and Colonel Kurtz. So this is this guy from the army who we learn has been fighting aliens for most of his career, but he is such a piece of shit. And just his lack of humanity. Again, a great, brilliantly drawn character, very effective for the story, but I wanted to see him suffer so much more. I wanted those aliens to get him. I wanted that punishment for all that he's done and all of the shits that he has never given. Okay, at 14, we're going to the Dark Tower and Mordred. Now, look, Mordred is an interesting villain, but his death is so thoroughly unsatisfying, just dying basically from the shits after he ate some bad meat. And look, the main reason Mordred is on this list is that you do not get to kill Oi and then just die yourself from diarrhea. Absolutely not. You deserve the worst of the worst. Okay, at 15, we're going to Lisey's story and Jim Dooley. Now, even allowing for what happens to Jim Dooley, his just horrific and mortifying death at the hands of the Long Boy in Booyah Moon, which should be satisfying, and kind of in sort of 99% of it is, I then think back to what he did to Lisey with the can opener. And then think, no, actually, no, bring him back to life, send him back to the Long Boy again, and just keep making it happen on a loop. And it still wouldn't be enough. Like, that man was twisted. Okay, 16, we're going under the dome, and we're going for Junior Rennie. And yeah, I don't care that he had a brain tumour. He was an absolute piece of shit. Abusive, necrophiliac, rapist, all of those things. Got away with it because his dad was who his dad was. And he was just able to operate in the shadows. And yeah, I think he would have been like that even without the brain tumour. So again, I wanted to see him suffer as much as physically possible. Okay, 17, we're going to 11/22/63 and John Clayton, Sadie's husband. Again, a brilliantly drawn, twisted, horrible character. But again, gets off fairly lightly, even though he does like permanently disfigure Sadie and does all of these nasty things. Like, he gets a pretty quick and easy death in the end. And I don't know, just felt like there was the potential to really make him suffer a lot more there. And it would have been very well earned. So 18, we're going to Mr. Mercedes and Brady Hartsfield. The fact that he gets to survive over 2 more books just says everything. And it's not just the fact that those 2 books are pretty unsatisfying, but Brady was horrible as a villain. And great twist at the end that he isn't dead, of course. Yes, I accept that. But also, like, you think what he did to those people in the jobs fair, and I know he accidentally killed his mum, but like, he still killed his mum, he killed his brother. Just a really twisted, nasty guy. And don't know, again, getting a quick bop on the head that actually gave him all these supernatural powers. Yeah, feels like he did okay out of that, really. Lastly, my 19th choice in Billy Summers is Roger Clark, who is the sort of media mogul oligarch type character who is also a sick paedophile sexual predator. And yes, it's satisfying that he is killed by somebody who he thinks is some new teenage girl that he's going to be able to rape. that is satisfying, but also, again, very quick, very to the point, and no real element of suffering or drawing it out or really making him feel what he's done. And that might have been a bit too gratuitous, I guess, but still, part of me, that character, you know, could easily have got way, way worse a punishment. So there we go. There are my 19 choices for Stephen King characters who I thought deserved worse than they got. Let me know what you think of those. And if you want to check out which characters I thought deserve best, well, you're going to have to become a constant viewer. And you can do that with the link below, and then you can go and find that and all the other specials that have been out so far. 2 a month as a minimum. And, well, people seem to be having a nice time with it. So if that sounds like your bag, go and sign up. Great. Cool. I will see you guys very, very soon. Yeah, I don't know what to say here. Bye. Bye.